What's up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast with the THPStrength team. Today, we are going to be discussing CJ, his programming. We're actually going to be writing his programming on the podcast, getting an update, all those good things. I know you guys really enjoy that, so that's what we're doing today. And we will introduce ourselves. My name is John. I coach these two fine gentlemen. CJ has been MIA for a bit, doing the necessary rehab to get back. And Isaiah has a 48-inch vertical. And yeah, I coach them. Isaiah, CJ.
Well, you already introduced us kind of, but I'm Isaiah Rivera, 48-inch vertical, pro dunker, and I coach athletes. Been doing it for about 2 years now. That's me.
Hey everybody, I'm CJ. I also dunk. I'm currently MIA, as John said, and I'm studying kinesiology right now.
Solid. CJ is also, for all intents and purposes, our media man. He does all of the videos for Isaiah and edits all of his YouTube videos, correct? Sick. So we will just kind of get into it here. For some reason, there's wind in the background. Are you guys outside?
I'm not.
Might be CJ's mic. Anyways, so CJ, give us an update on everything. How's your body feeling? What's been going on in your life over the last 6 months? This is an update for me too. This is real time. Let's go last 3 months. Last 3 months.
Last 3 months. Okay. All right. So semester started. School's going on right now. But the three things about my body right now that have been really messing me up has been everything on the left side. I have my shoulder, I have my hamstring, and then I also have my knee. With the shoulder and the knee, it's tendinopathy. So the knee, what do we, PFP, patellofemoral pain?
Yeah, I think it's PFP mostly, yeah.
And the shoulder, it's just, we can just call it shoulder pain for now, but there's a lot of things going on up in there.
What did they actually say it was? Did they say it was like your rotator cuff tendon or something?
No, they didn't say. I mean, it is, or it's like a part of it, because, I mean, again, there's a lot going on up in there, so I think I've heard people prefer to call it just shoulder pain instead of trying to be specific when there's a lot of things happening. But anyway, so the last 3 months, it's been okay. So I did rehab. I went into rehab and I got some hands-on work with a physical therapist, and that was good in terms of getting me feeling confident to move again. Because beforehand I wasn't able to do like almost any movement. I was too scared to also do that. I had the anxiety of doing that. So they kind of worked me into doing certain things until I was actually able to jump again, and I was able to start doing certain exercises. And it's been going good. You could see I've posted a little bit on my Instagram. I have some progression. Last time I tested a 37-inch vertical. I think last week I probably hit 40 if I tested. And I'm kind of trying to slowly build back up into what normal training is. So, yeah, my hamstring was able to handle certain things. I could run again. I could cut. I could actually do things like Nordics, not like as hard as possible, but that's been good. I've been able to do a full squat. I'm able to obviously jump, so my knee can handle that kind of thing. And then on the other hand, my shoulder, I could finally do, like, for example, the most I'll do is 4 sets of 15 push-ups, and that's about as much as it can handle after doing like a full rehab upper body day.
Okay.
So that's how it's been going, and then now last week I have regressed. Last week I tried to do. I think the big thing was I probably overused it, but I also tried to deadlift 95 pounds, which is like 35% of what I was doing before I got injured. So, yeah, 95 pounds, and it kind of, I don't know if it tweaked, but I felt a little something.
In your knee or your shoulder? Or your
hamstring.
Which one are we on?
Yeah. So this is a big thing. The hamstring is scary for me because I'm not like too sure when it could possibly like kind of re-injure itself, because I've re-injured it before, and it doesn't. Before re-injuring it, it doesn't really, like, there's not a lot of signs that show me. So if I feel anything, like if I feel a little bit of discomfort, then I'm just like, okay, I think I should probably back off. So that's what I felt last week. Um, so the hamstring is just a bit like I'm a bit worried to use it now, and the knee as well. I don't know what happened with the knee. Maybe I did overjump. Not maybe, I did. I did. I had 2 dunk sessions on Thursday, so that that would be it.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the knee regressed a little bit as well, but I'm not even like that stressed about it. So that's kind of where I'm at, just the hamstring and the knee.
Got it. All right, so shoulder is manageable at the moment, right? You know how to deal with that one.
Yeah.
How have you been basically on like a load management type setup where you're jumping Mondays and Thursdays? Is that basically what you're doing?
Just Thursday.
Just Thursday. Okay. What are you doing on Monday?
Monday has just been legs.
Okay. So what does your current setup look like?
Yeah, okay. So I did it's changed up a bit. So I think so Monday's legs. No, I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me start on Thursday. Thursday's jump day, Friday's rest, Saturday legs, Sunday upper body rehab, Monday's legs, Tuesday upper body rehab, Wednesday. Did I take a break on Wednesday?
So you start your week on Thursday.
Yes.
So you go jump day, off day, leg day, upper, leg day, upper, something like that?
Yeah.
Then what?
I'm trying to think what the
Off
last
day?
day was. It might be a leg day,
Okay, so you basically
but like a
have,
light leg day.
so you have 3 leg days and 1 jump day right now.
I've been doing 2, so I might have I think hang on, I'm looking back.
Do you like your week starting on Thursday? Is there a reason for that? Are you free on the
I'm
weekends?
just trying to dunk with everybody on Thursday. That's what that was.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
I try to keep it at
the
2.
new Saturday.
I try to keep it to 2 leg workouts and then 1 light leg workout, which is like a warm up and then some dribbling drills and then maybe like
dribbling
hip thrust.
like dribbling like leg dribbling or ball dribbling.
Basketball dribbling. Like
Okay.
I'll move with the basketball, but
okay. I see
almost
what you're saying.
kind of in place, but kind of out of place. Like I'm not moving too far, but just a little bit, just to get a sweat.
All right. This is gonna be using my max brain power right now. All right. So, Isaiah, you can interject on anything you have while I.
Do you want me to? I can go on his training and I can input stuff as you guys talk about it. Like if you tell me to add this on that day.
I don't mind.
That way we can unload your max brain power a little bit.
Yeah, but I need to see the whole thing. I feel like.
Okay.
I need to write it out as I go, or else it's gonna be really tough. Should I share my screen? Like I can share my screen.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
I have all the numbers and the workouts that I did as well.
Yeah, the biggest ones will be like your best ever, where you think you're at right now. That's the most relevant ones. Like best ever, and then where you think you're like not best ever, best in the last couple of months. All right, so
I have it.
So I just do my Chrome tab. Let's see if that'll work. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
That's gorgeous, actually.
What do you mean?
Like it looks dope. Like it's high quality,
Oh, really?
big.
You'll love to hear it. Okay, so
You might want to clear all that. I literally
nice,
put.
bro.
I told him to.
Nice, dude. You got both.
I was getting tired of having to scroll up and find a warm up from like
This is great.
March
Isaiah,
or something.
How many months did you load of this?
It might have been a lot.
Oh my god. Oh my
I would
god.
just go a year just in case.
Oh my god. All right, hold on.
So
I'm in 2022 right now. So if you. Hey, stop it. Sorry, my dog's over there eating cords. She's so smart. She's just like her dad. Now she's laying in the corner wrapped around a chair. It's kind of funny. Can you guys see my face too? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so let's see. I'm deleting these warm-ups too. All right, so right now, do you still want to dunk on Thursdays, which is today?
I'm not dunking today.
All right. Well, that's gonna make this tough. I would rather just start the week on Monday, Like, you know what I mean?
That's
Just go
fine.
there.
We could do whatever's
All right.
easiest.
So what considerations do you have as far as like logistically? Do you have access to everything every day, or are there certain things you want to be doing with certain people on certain days?
That doesn't matter anymore because I just want to be able to train, get to
Right.
being able to train. So it's all good.
How
Also,
close are
schedules for everybody's gonna be kind of weird.
you? Yeah.
Next
Yeah,
few weeks.
it's everything's changing so
You guys
much.
know
So
I'm
I
gonna be in
don't
Orlando
mind.
the 18th, right? You guys know that? The 18th to like the 25th.
What happened?
I'm gonna be in Orlando the 18th to the 25th.
Uh,
All right. So.
oh, bro, that's Scotty's trying to set up a huge Balls Life session with like T and
Oh.
everybody, and Dan Gross. I think he's trying to get him down here
In
that time,
February
too.
18th?
Yeah.
No
like,
way.
Yeah.
Dude. That's gonna be tough for me. But all right. So let's see here. We got a warm up. So
I
you
think,
can you do the full warm ups right now, CJ?
I don't know. I was doing them. Like last week, I was doing them, and I was also ramping up the intensity of doing them. So it felt like I was sweating at the end of it. So currently, right now, I think if I'll do it, but like I'll just cut down the meters to like maybe like
Can you
a
cut the
100-meter
intensity?
jog.
Or you
yeah.
can do it Isaiah style.
Yeah. Which is what?
I like go really, really low intensity.
That's what I
CJ
mean.
knows what I'm
I've seen it.
I'll probably do that. I think I could.
I'd ra-
I'm pretty sure I could do that.
Yeah, the warm up would probably be a good thing to like build back in. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start alternating these. Just so guys know, closure and maneuver are kind of like the common ones. I change them year to year. If you're listening to this, they just kind of
You know
involve like a bunch of different general movements that address coordination and also address like ranges of motion in all the planes. So generally speaking, they can be like a little bit elastic at times, or they can involve a lot of low level plyometrics, and that's how I make them up. So I also make them specific to whatever I feel like the athlete might actually lack and might need. So most of our athletes are basketball players or track and field athletes, and they suck at spinning, cutting, like in a coordinated manner. And those are really important skills to have. So the footwork is kind of blended into the warm-ups. My dog is stuck underneath the chair, and I'm not going to help her. So they're kind of blended into the warm-up to try to help athletes who maybe don't have a basketball background or don't have like a general good movement library in their wheelhouse, and kind of building that out accordingly. And that's why I like to vary it and include a lot of different movements in the warm-up. Bailey, come. She is eating the cords again. Sorry. I should just crate her right now, but so we're going. Okay, so CJ, what was your question before I move on?
With building up the warm up, I think so I can actually measure it instead of trying to go by lower intensity and build intensity. I think it would be easier to just try and keep the same intensity, but maybe change the distance. And that way I can measure it better.
Yeah, that's fine for you to quantify it. That works. Are you going to keep mental notes of that?
Oh yeah, I got
cool.
my notebook here. Don't worry.
Sweet, because I can't really go in and I could. I
Yeah,
guess.
no, I know.
I could
that.
actually do it here, but that would be a lot.
No, I'm not trying to make you have that much work.
Yeah, that would be a lot. That would be a lot to go in and start changing individual exercise library. All right. So as far as stretching, can you do the dynamic flexibility right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. That's probably good for your hamstring. Are you just doing the jump specific one right now?
I've been doing all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. I'll mix it up for you. So just so you guys know, the jump specific one is a little bit shorter. Actually, I'm going to wait to do this because I need to figure out what your week is going to look like. I think with your PFP, it's going to be best to load you Monday, Wednesday, Friday, generally, be your legs. Of those, I would say one of them could be jumping. And reason being, PFP, the recovery timelines are a little bit different than tendinopathy, where you could load tendinopathy based on the tension in the tendon and the velocity in the tendon, and you can kind of cycle through it. PFP is a little bit different in that the timelines for recovery are somewhat longer, like 48 hours-ish. And if you do a jump session and a lifting session back-to-back, it'll make it a little bit worse. So by giving yourself that full window, that full 48 hours, and loading every other day, you give yourself that full 48 hours to kind of bounce back. And your PFP is not velocity velocity doesn't impact it. It does, but it's more like the position and the pressure. So you can still have really high stress on your patellofemoral, basically on the hyaline cartilage, the backside of the patella bone, and the femoral, like the groove, the patellar groove in the femur. You can have really high pressures just doing regular strength work. So if you go back to back like you would in a standard load management setup, where you might go like elastic work, then slow strength, then isos, that would not work for PFP. Also, isos do not work for PFP, so they're definitely not going to be in there. So I guess I'm gonna these days CJ can be upper if you're doing upper rehab.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that in there. I'm assuming you have a setup you're doing right now for that the PT gave you. Okay, so you have a good progression for that right now. Okay, I'm just gonna put upper in there. Sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna take this out. Cool. So you're basically gonna do legs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And which of those days would you prefer to dunk if you could pick?
Friday. It's the most free day.
Okay, cool. So I'm debating right now, for people wondering, if you want me to talk about. Some people will say like, "Oh, I want you to talk about like what your thought process is and stuff like that." Isaiah, are you multitasking? Are you muting yourself, or what are your thoughts right now?
I've just been listening.
Oh, okay.
to what you've been saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, what's going through my head is, should I put sprinting in there or not? So reason being, sprinting is a good progression back for the hamstring, but it doesn't necessarily have to be sprinting. You can have an iteration of sprinting. So you could have dribble runs, you could have jogging, you could have, like, there's tons of ways to progress it. Generally speaking, you would go dribble runs over the ankle, then over the knee, then or you would go over the ankle, over the calf, then over the knee, increase the velocity, increase the frequency, and then you would go to faster tempo running.
What's a dribble run?
Dribble running is like the ankling. Like, remember when you used to like run? It's like riding a little bike where you step over the ankle.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
Oh.
And then and so basically you can progress your hamstring with that because it's sprint specific, right? Where you pull your hamstring the most is as you cast the leg further out. When you're moving faster, you get pre-contraction in the hamstring as you get to that full extension, like unfolding the leg before it touches the ground. That's where you pull your hamstring. So dribbling is a way to kind of reel back the intensity a little bit, because if you're stepping over the ankle, you're truncating the run. So you don't have to unfold the leg quite as fast. And you can also change the frequency, right? I mean, you might have, for example, I think elite sprinting, it goes upwards of like 3.8 strides per second or something. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's even high as 4. But with dribble running, you can get really high frequencies and really low velocities. You can get really high stride frequencies with really low velocities because your stride length is so short. And so it tends to be like a good progression, because then you can increase the stride length by stepping over the calf, which will inherently increase the stride length because your flight time's longer, even if you don't have a good entrance velocity. And then you can step over the knee, and that again will increase the stride length, and then you move back into running, right? Or you can just add a run in or a jog in to the dribbles. That's another way you can kind of progress. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but it's highly specific for progressing the hamstring back into running. Now, progressing the hamstring back into dunking is different, right? Because you don't need a super high velocity to run into the jump. And so you kind of have two things conflicting here. Or not conflicting, but two things running into each other. You can progress out the sprints, but it's not necessarily specific to dunking, because you can run into a dunk right now and dunk, right? And you're not pulling your hamstring in dunking. So I don't think so, right? Is that where the highest stress is right now, or no?
No.
So if you're able to dunk right now, dunking is going to load your hamstring up in a very specific way. And obviously your hamstring is not a predictor of your dunking success. If you're not pulling your hamstring in dunking, odds are it's probably not like a high risk activity for you. And that is the end of the progression for you. So sprinting is a luxury you might not have at the moment. And there's maybe no need to even put it in right now, because dunking is the most specific stimuli that's going to make you the fastest, make you better the fastest, along with increasing your health of your PFP, or decreasing the pain of the PFP, increasing the tolerance of that hyaline cartilage underneath the kneecap and above the femur, and building your strength back up accordingly, right? So getting you strong seems to be one of the best things to do. Getting your deadlift up seems to really help your vertical. And if you guys don't know this, CJ's best lift is his deadlift. And if you watch the way he jumps, very similar joint angles to his deadlift. You would agree, CJ?
Yes, 100%.
So getting his deadlift up has to be somewhat of a high priority for increasing his individual vertical, as well as your squat. Do you see any correlation there with your squat personally?
Hardly. And
You've also never really pushed it super high, right?
No, well, just because I couldn't. it
With
didn't
your
feel
back and your
good.
knee.
So, yeah.
CJ has a lot of a cocktail of injuries that makes it kind of tough. Like leg press seems to be okay though, right?
Yeah, I wish I had one though.
We're almost done. June or July. That's the general prediction of when this return to normalcy will be. My dog is sleeping between the chair and it is so cute right now. I literally can't. Oh my goodness gracious. I need to take a picture. Anyways, so those are kind of the things working against CJ when we're trying to put together this plan and create or find the best stimulus for him, right? Because we need a strength stimulus for him, but we also need to progress up a lot of other things concurrently, and we can do that. We just have to find the right set for it. So this is for PFP, we're going Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That makes sense, right? Because he's got 48 hours between loading, and he's got a jump day, which is the most specific thing he can do, and all I have to do on that day is make sure that he's warm. I don't have to put sprints in because I'm probably going to use strength work to progress up his hamstring at first before I build in anything like that. And I'm going to pick whatever dynamic flexibility circuit he feels the most warm with, which is what?
Any of them are fine, to be honest.
All right, I'll pick.
Since I've been doing all,
Yeah,
so
I like this one.
I've been just switching it up.
Cool. I'll put this one in. Your back is fine with these ones?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Are you doing any sprint drills right now?
No, I actually, they did have me doing a bit of sprints during
Rehab?
physical therapy. Yeah.
I'm going to leave
So-
them out, and let's just be extra safe.
Yeah.
You don't feel very comfortable with that. I just don't feel like this is an adequate warm-up. I feel like you would need a little bit more
For dunking or for the workout?
for dunking. How many jumps are you going to do? How many jumps have you been doing?
Up to 15-ish.
Is that after the warm-up?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Wait, is that after the jump warm-up?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Or actually, Isaiah likes 15 jumps for the warm-up. I'm going to do that.
That's actually
How about
yesterday.
that?
I was the first time I actually messed around with like a lot with more lower intensity jumps, and I feel way better today.
Yeah.
So,
CJ, are you going off the dribble on your regular attempts? How are you warming up with that? Off the dribble or a full run-in?
My warm-up jumps, they're actually more without a ball, and then I do off dribble.
Okay. I'll say off dribble. Sounds weird. Cool. These can be max effort. You've been doing max effort approaches.
Yeah.
Are you doing any visualization before your attempts?
Not so much. I know. I've heard about this a few times now from you.
Yeah.
feel the force. I actually did this before my J Rich reverse two hands. I
And
hit
how
it
did-
first try
thank
without
you.
ever having practiced it.
There you go.
So
Ready?
People don't
Ready?
even know. People don't even know what the session was like yesterday.
Ready?
yeah,
This
yeah.
is- Here, I'm gonna just quote Jordan Kokanen, even though those aren't his words, but putting his name in it will. He does believe in this.
I'll think of him. Don't worry, that will help.
Yeah. You'll be like, what would Jordan do? And that'll help you. All right,
Jordan
so
literally does like a cracked out meditation before
it
every dunk.
works, dude. That's how I
Yeah.
went from not even getting close to East Bang to almost East Bang.
Like it's literally
I will
in
East Bay
his
today
sessions,
because of that, probably.
bro. His sessions, he's literally resting like 5 minutes in between every jump. Like it's like its own. Every jump is its own special like event. Like
Dude, he told me that he waits for the beat to drop before he goes. Like he sets up his meditation and visualization such that Dude, it's super effective. I'm not going to go into it, but it works, okay? Like,
Yeah.
Isaiah, Exhibit A, you yesterday, and me, East Bang, almost on 910. Literally the first time I ever tried. Oh, Zay, real quick. What am I supposed to do today? I'm supposed to low rim on 9.6 East Bays and windmills?
Yeah.
I wish I could be there for that, man. I'd be so
East Bay,
excited.
East Bay 9.6, windmill 9.10.
Okay. Well, I'm going to windmill first on a lower one because I've never done that arm action before, and I'm afraid to, like, land funny because I'm going to be splitting my legs funny, but I'll do that. All
Bro,
right.
we have to get Jordan on the podcast to talk about visualization. We have to try. Like,
All right, we'll try. We will try.
well, I would be okay if he fucking market bounce kick. Like, I don't even give a fuck.
All right, that's fine. I mean, yeah. Okay, so we'll ask him. If you're listening to this, everyone DM Jordan and ask him if he wants to be on the THP Strength podcast. Tell him that CJ was on and we want to have him talk about visualization. Blow up his phone. All right, so we have that one day done. CJ, you got your upper days, and now I want to build out the 2 strength days on Monday and Wednesday. The only downside of this is you might be a little fatigued for this Friday session, or it could function to help you adapt leading into that session. So just some pros and cons.
Okay, I have thoughts, but we'll save it for
What are your thoughts?
later. Well, I'm kind of thinking that maybe I don't want to race to this 10-foot East Bay contest right away. Would be pretty happy if I could actually just like low rim on my jump days.
Why?
Technique. I want some technique. But when I say low rim, I mean like 9 foot, 9'5".
I'm going to be honest with you.
You think 10?
You're gonna slow your progress down by doing that because your hands, honestly, I think your hands are fine. It is a totally up here. It's a confidence thing. I really honestly believe this is why I keep pushing the visualization, because you have the motor learning. You have the capacity to already do those dunks super easily. It is just a matter of tapping into those sensations and getting the same sensations back. You know what they are. If you use your memory and I ask you, CJ, what does an East Bay feel like? Your best East Bays ever. If you could think about what it felt like in your body, right? What did you feel? Where did you feel tension in your legs? Where did you feel tension in your arms? What velocities? What was the rhythm like? And you were to start closing your eyes and thinking about that. Could you use your memory to kind of bring back what some of those things feel like?
Yeah, my muscles are kind of like contracting.
Okay, so where do you feel tension? In your quads, in your hamstrings, in your glutes? Like, where do you feel where's that?
My core.
In your core. So where, at what point?
On the transfer.
Okay,
and then coming up to the hoop.
Right. So I want you to think about the jump and the approach. Like right as you lob the ball and you're approaching, what does the approach feel like? Is it bouncy? Is it flat? Is it like scurrying across the ground?
It's kind of like a straight shot. Like I go straight.
So you run straight at and how fast are you moving roughly?
Not that fast.
So you're not moving that fast, but is it bouncy and rhythmic?
It doesn't feel bouncy compared to like if I were doing a full approach one-hander off a lob. It just feels pretty controlled.
Okay, so it's controlled, and then as you're coming in, you're pushing off that penultimate step and planting your plant foot. What does that part feel like? Where do you feel tension in your body?
It's really quick. It's a short penultimate, I think, on the East Bay.
So if you were to like be like ba-ba, what's the rhythm like for you? Is it pop-pop or is it like ta-da? What sort of rhythm is it? If you were to use like onomatopoeia to give me an idea of the rhythm.
Pop-pop.
Bop-bop. All right.
Something like that.
You guys heard it first, so it's bop-bop. And what about like the block foot coming through and is that the
block foot
that's the
short.
plant and block foot? Is that the plant and block foot? So it's like bop-bop?
Yeah. The block foot is really short.
Is it like push, bop-bop? And what sort of pressure are you feeling through your feet when you do that?
Oh, man, this is tough.
That's what you need to do before every jump. You need to be thinking, like, what did it feel like when I did that? Like, when the ball was coming down, and then you need to see yourself just punching the shit out of it, like, at the end of the jump. Like, that's also a really important part of the visualization. You have to see yourself finishing whatever the movement is. And this is, like, a thing in high jump that I've done for years, but, like, unknowingly, unconsciously, and then when I started to do it consciously and think about, like, what did my best jumps feel like, and just chasing the sensation of that best jump. I posted something on my story yesterday. It was like, what do your best jumps feel like? And everyone was like, effortless. I was like, that means nothing. CJ, go out there and effortless for me, okay? I just go out there and just like when you toss the ball, just like effortless. And then each step, just effortless. And then like when you jump, just effortless the jump. I was so pissed. I was like, this is ridiculous. Everyone's like, easy, effortless, efficient. I'm like, those are not action words, okay? They are the exact opposite of action. Effortless means you're not doing anything. Like, effortless is you not like just, hey guys, just right now when you're typing, just effortless the typing for me. Like just apply no effort whatsoever. Okay, my hands aren't moving. Like it pisses me off. So everyone's like fluid. I'm like, what does that mean? And people can't describe it. They're like, I don't know. And so I've made it like a thing where I'm like describing sensations and helping people understand what certain things feel like and giving people context of what things feel like and trying to chase that sensation and knowing that's how they know when they did it right is almost like more important, like arguably more important as a coach to understand how to communicate to people or how to get them to understand. So like for you, CJ, your sensation on an East Bay, right? Like what sensations do you have in your body? What are you feeling? If you close your eyes, like you'll probably get an adrenaline rush, even if you just close your eyes and start going through it and like imagining where the sensations are and what you felt on your best East Bays, right?
Yeah.
You get an adrenaline rush right now?
I already did when we were first talking about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I got an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy. People don't realize that, but like you can do mental reps like that. Like okay, if we were to keep going, like what does it feel like when you do that transfer and the ball's coming up? Like how fast does that rhythm feel? Like if you were to give me a word, is it boom or is it bop? Is it ta-da? Like think about rhythms or words that give you onomatopoeia to think about the rhythm of that. How fast is that transfer coming through?
It's more of a whoom. It's like a whooshy sound is how I feel it.
Bop. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Some of those words like onomatopoeia or like you ever hear like the word knuckle, like it's like a tough term, or like gooing gawing sounds, or they have certain, I don't know if connotation is the word or whatever, but like certain sounds have certain feelings internally, like tough sounds like knuckle, like click or pop, you know what I mean? Like those words, you can feel them in your body, you know what they feel like, right? And I would recommend like doing the same thing, like thinking about when you're thinking about like whoom, you know, that's what the East Bay feels like for you, right? A windmill for me feels like, yeah, just like whoop, all the way around. Like that's the rhythm of it. It's, if I were to think about the onomatopoeia for it, it'd be like punch and then whoop. That's how slow mine is. You guys are probably like, Isaiah, what is yours? If you were to think about a word to describe how fast your windmill is, your best ones.
A windmill?
A windmill, yeah.
It's like a whoosh, like whoosh.
That's how fast his is. Mine's so much slower. But that gives you an idea for rhythms and stuff like that. Like the rhythm is usually really important, sequentially building into it. Like you have to start feeling that stuff and thinking of those, like what it feels like. And then again, describing it to other people, they can start to get a vibe for it.
Mine's
Oh,
that's how I describe it.
Oh, I like that one. But okay, so this is also, if you're listening to this is like independent to you. But CJ, this is what I want you to do before your dunks. Even before you go into the session, like you can do mental reps like that. Even if you're doing walkthroughs and you're imagining yourself going through it, and then as you're taking each step, imagining what it's going to feel like. Imagining like trying to get as close as possible on those. Imagining the muscles contracting through each step, imagining where you're feeling tension on your windmills, where you have tension on, you know, on the push off, and where you have tension on the punch of the dunk, and where you have tension on the landing, like getting that sensation and then trying to just replicate that sensation. You know what I mean? That's what's going to build confidence, right? Because you've been there already. You've done it already. You know what it feels like. You have the benefit of doing it like a million times. So for you to, you know, you can feel when your jumps are off, right?
Honestly, I mean, yeah.
So now I want you to compare the jumps last week to the jumps this week. Or better yet, sorry, I want you to compare your jumps last week when you last jumped to your best jumping day ever. Where were the sensations different?
Definitely on the approach, I would say.
Okay, so how could you better replicate the approach? On your,
just be more aggressive.
Like running faster?
Yeah.
So more momentum into it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then on the plant and things like that, so now imagine yourself running that fast this upcoming Friday, like on the 12th. Mm-hmm. Where are you noticing there might be gaps or holes that you might not be able to replicate sensationally?
Probably the penultimate step. Like if I could really get my plant foot out there, I feel.
So you feel like your hamstring is gonna limit you on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a little bit of like inhibition there, right? Like you're like, I can't quite tap into that because of my hamstring.
And so now it's also the same thing with the transfer with my shoulder.
Okay, so now I want you to dial back from your best sensations, dial back the effort to where you think you could get to. And start and that's where your visualization is, right? Because you can't get to that top point. You'll get hurt, right? So you got to dial back your visualization and be like, okay, where is my realistic where can I realistically visualize this happening, right? And that's where you want to feel everything out. You don't want to go to you want to like use the best day as your best case scenario, and then you can click back, right? If that's a 10, click it back to a 7.5, you know what I mean? And start doing that every single time. And then as you get a little more comfortable and want to add effort, dial up the sensations to an 8 before, you know what I mean? And things like that. And then following those sensations, like, you can kind of get a progression in and of itself, you know, more than like an intensity progression. And you do the same thing in your warm-ups. You might not realize it, but you do. So you're not at your true 100%. Like, what percent do you think, if you're thinking about those sensations being a 10, your best ones ever, where do you think you're at right now?
Honestly, I feel like with jumping, I feel like I'm like a good 80%, to be honest.
You could get to an 8. You could dial it up to an 8.
Yeah.
That's my point is, how about that East Bay attempt in your class? Where was that?
Oh, and that was off the dribble. So that could have been like 8 to 9.
Do you think you can do that again in your session this upcoming week?
I should be able to think that.
I would think about that. I would use that one as a gauge, like, because you've been there recently. You know what I mean?
If I could find that adrenaline.
Yeah, I would just I would use visualization, and I would just be like, this is what it felt like. You know, think about what it felt like. Think about how high your head was to the rim on the punch, and like, you know, everything. Like, think about those things, and it should help you connect the dots because you've been there recently, so you know you're healthy enough to do it. You just gotta visualize. You know, you gotta get there in your head. You gotta get warm and then get there in your head. Kind of cool. Anyways, CJ's like, oh, I got an adrenaline rush. I'm ready to do it. It's like a crack addict. Isaiah's over there thinking about the same things probably. He's like, grinning ear to ear, thinking about like what's your 360 behind the back between the legs felt like, and like crazy stuff like that probably. Like, oh, it felt like this.
No, I was honestly thinking about just a regular East Bay. Like, and I was also thinking as far as CJ, because like you can see the difference in intensity, because like I've seen CJ that fucking 11 out of 10, and like I know what that looks like, and then compared to the session where he was trying East Bay before, if I would give that a number, it probably looked like a 6. And I know you can tap into higher, so I was just thinking about like that as well, like, and then I could, from the East Bay that you said in your class, I never even seen that East Bay, never will be, but I can see it in my head, like I know what that looked like, I know like what the intensity looked like.
I can actually.
Ooh, to add to that approach was bouncy
off the okay. So there you go.
Yeah,
those are the things you want to try to replicate. Like, and we can all think of that, right? I think one of the things I was trying to do as a coach was educate myself yesterday, right? I have access to these elite high jumpers, and I'm like, you know, high jump's kind of a bullseye type of thing, even more so than dunking for me. And I was like, okay, what do you guys feel on your best takeoffs? And everyone said effortless, and I was like, useless. You know, like I need to walk people through what I just did for you guys so that other people can start to feel those sensations in their visualization, you know, like what they, you know what I mean, what it feels like.
I want to add a sensation into here, because the session I just had yesterday, I wasn't jumping very well. Court was dusty. I wasn't as aggressive on my jumps, versus the session right before that where I was jumping really high. My approach feels light when I'm jumping well, and it feels heavy when I'm jumping poorly. Like I feel heavier when I'm jumping poorly.
So do you think you can try to replicate that in your approaches whenever you are having a bad day? Be like, all right, I'm going to try to have a bouncier run up, right? Have a lighter run up. I think what probably is happening sensationally or realistically is you're probably in a lot more deeper positions, so you feel weaker, so you feel heavier. Versus if you don't quite get into those angles, then you're probably going to feel lighter and bouncier, right? Yeah. Because you're stronger in higher joint positions with your lower body. You know, you have better leverage, quote unquote. If you, I mean, that's another thing too, is understanding like, okay, sensationally I felt this, how do I get that same sensation? You know, sometimes you might not be able to connect the dots for yourself, and that's, I think, where a coach comes in, is like, okay, well, how can I want you to try to keep your hips a little higher to try to get that. Did that give you the same sensation? You know, that was it. That was the same sensation. So now you know when you're not feeling that, what you have to do to feel it, you know? Or for me, like speed jumping or whatever, I know when I don't have the right sensations or whatever, like I'm like, oh, why didn't I get that same sensation on my takeoff that I got on the other ones? Well, I'm at a takeoff position. I didn't get into takeoff position. Okay, well, how do I get in takeoff position? I have to be quicker putting my takeoff leg out in front of me and getting my free leg back behind me, right? And that's how I'll get the same sensation at takeoff. And like, you know, that can be a tough thing for people to start to conceptualize, right? Is like, I want to add more effort into this, but I don't know how to get the same sensation when I add speed or when I add effort, or, you know, I'm doing this, I'm not getting the same sensations. I don't know how to replicate those sensations. Like sometimes that's where a coach can help you fill in the gaps and stuff. Cause like if you understand biomechanics, you're like, well, this might be one reason why. And then you try it and you're like, it didn't work. It's like, okay, well, let's try something else. Or different cueing and things like that to get those same sensations. But I think visualization is a really, really good strategy. Anyway, CJ, we're going to get back to your training here. I don't even know where we're at as far as time. But I'm going to put in... No, I'm just going to do this really fast. I was going to let you guys get in my head, but you guys don't get to be in my head.
All right, while you do that, I got another visualization thing.
All right.
To kind of explain what the adrenaline feels like on like adrenaline days, because I've definitely felt it last week. I get like I think of like electricity. So
like a tingling?
every step
sensation
on the approach is very just like electric, and at the same time it also feels like somebody's pushing my back to go forward, so I have like a boost.
Yeah, that's actually, I get the same sensation off one. It feels like scurrying. Like I put it on my story yesterday. Like my best 1 foot jumps, it feels like a ramp, like I'm a roller coaster or something, or like a downhill train, just like, you know, just like, like it just ramps up.
I just imagine like if there was a dunk anime and we all had powers, like I just imagine both of you guys saying that, like CJ would literally go electric, and then there would be like a hand, and then there would be a hand like pushing him, and then John, you would have like a train like around you and like
just zipping down like boom. It feels, dude. Honestly, like imagine a sled, downhill sled, just like going off a ramp. We say this all the time, like a snowboarder going down a hill into a ramp. Like that's almost like what my best jumps feel like. And like the better I jump, the steeper that ramp is, right? So like if I'm not jumping well, it's like a lower angle for the ramp. If I'm like jumping really well, it's like I really can get a steep angle on that ramp and just whoop, right up into the air and just pop off the ground. That's almost what it feels like. CJ, do you have access to a lying hamstring machine, curl machine?
I could do that. I could make one. I have bands and I have a bar.
I want something more controlled.
Yeah.
You don't have any access to machine hamstring exercises?
No.
What exercises can you do for your hamstring? The Nordic, you can do a Nordic, you can do...
Well, I was doing, I dropped back because I tried to do a leg day on Monday, and I dropped back. And what I did was, I did like, kind of like a hip thrust, but a single leg hip thrust on the ground. And I did like a 10-second hold. I did that 10 times on one leg. I did that. And then afterwards, I did I was flat on my back, and let's say I had my feet up on my bed here straight, and then I just pushed my hips up, and I did holds too, but that was actually a little bit too much.
So you elevated your feet to make it harder?
Yeah.
You can just move your leg out, like walk your foot out further, and that'll load the hamstring more.
So, I mean, with that, I'm just kind of saying that's I feel like that's where I was at in terms of like that's as far as I could go.
All right, so your goal should be to add weight or to walk it out further over time, but I'm just going to keep it at 4x8 with that understanding, mutual understanding for both of us.
This is for which exercise?
Single leg glute bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's for his hamstring. That's addressing his hamstring. Yeah. You felt like that addressed it like pretty specifically? It was like a good progression for you?
It was okay.
What would be the next best one?
We could RDLs maybe.
You think you can do an RDL
with like no weight, starting with literally like something super light or like water bottles, and then work up?
How about we start at like body weight and then we add a bar? Actually, I think just change the range of motion, CJ. Just don't bend your knees more. Actually, that's how you do it. Bend your knees more if you want to unload it. We'll do barbell and then with bent knees. If your knees feel good enough to do it, but I think they'll be fine. I just changed this to RDL. I don't know why it's not updating. I think it's working, but it's not like updating immediately. And then with your squat, do you have a box you can sit down to, like a bench or something?
I do.
Okay, cool. We are going to do Do you know the bottoms up squats?
Yeah.
So I want you to do, well, actually, I want you to do a pulsing squat. Pulsing box squat. And we'll give you 4x12. What weight do you think you could? So basically, it's sit down on the box at 90 degrees, like your knee at 90, and then go up to just about, like, don't go into a quarter squat, like avoid the quarter squat, and you're just pulsing like Isaiah was doing. Remember when Isaiah was doing the bottoms up squats, but he was like pulsing?
Yeah.
That's what I want you doing. But like, yeah, that's basically what I want you doing. But you're not lifting off the pins. You know what I mean? You're going to have to go through that first quarter squat, but then you're just going to pulse in that kind of middle range.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because PFP, the pressure, joint pressure decreases. Actually, joint surface area increases as you flex your knee more, which is good. But obviously, joint pressure goes up the force, the reaction forces go up as you move into a deeper position. So your best case scenario is being in that middle range because you have a lot of surface area covering each other, a lot of contact between the patella, the femur, and the tibia. And you also have mitigated pressure. So that's kind of like a good spot to stay in. And then you can progress up the weight accordingly over time.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Well, yeah.
Do you have the most amount of pain in a deep squat and in a quarter squat?
I have a lot if I do deep. Like if I were to do deep right now.
Yeah, so we want to avoid that. That's what I'm saying. We're staying in that like upper, you know what I mean, avoiding that. The quarter squat you probably don't because there's not, if you were to load it up, you probably would get more, wouldn't you?
I'm not sure actually.
Well, let's not try because you probably would. I would assume you would.
Okay.
So we'll keep it here and then we'll go at what do you think you do for a pulsing box squat? Like 100 pounds or something like that?
For what I've been doing, like what I worked up to was 115 pounds.
All right, let's just keep it at 100. So I think you can do 100 easy. That'll be super easy. And then I want you to do, we're just going to progress it by 5 pounds if you feel good.
Yeah.
This is going to be your...
What's the tempo like?
Oh, slow. Or I would say like up, down, up, down. What pace is that? 2 or 3 count? Like up,
we could just
down, up, down.
Paced.
I don't know what pace that is. That's what I always say. And people are like, what's paced? And I'm like, I don't know. Like a 2 count? A 3 count? I don't know.
I just call that controlled.
Controlled. How about that? Yeah. I like that. That's good.
Our visualization words are getting good.
Oh, baby. All right, cool. So 10, 4x10, 105. Sweet. And then can you do any calf raise stuff? Like any calf stuff right now?
I do that all the time. I just sit there and rep out calf raises when I'm bored.
Perfect. Can you load them?
Yeah. I don't have much weights in the gym, so I use everything that I have.
Perfect. I'm going to do AMRAP. That means as many as possible.
Yeah.
Basically ad nauseum because there's no reason not to. They don't cause pain. Calves are important for jumping. They'll help your knee, PFB. Do you have bands for glute, like sidewalks and stuff?
Been doing those too.
Perfect.
Got them.
So this is...
Yeah, I'm still keeping up with the loading my glute med and my calves.
Perfect.
In hopes that it helps.
I'm just going to put 10, and that's like tiny steps each direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We'll go here.
Yeah.
Cool. And you can use a pretty strong band for that. Also, I want you to lightly stretch your rec fem. Lightly stretch your rec fem.
Only light? What is light to you?
I would say like you feel a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
And I would do that beforehand. So
sure.
Add in like do you know the standing one where you like keep your knees in line and you pull your foot behind you? It's like a quad stretch. It's just like a standing quad stretch.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
well then yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want you to do. And I want you to do like you can kind of do it. You can do it dynamically. I would probably do like 30 to 45 seconds. You don't need a lot. Reason being,
sure.
Because if you increase the time at what you're doing, there's high pressure in the joint when you do that, right? But it can be very beneficial to do because it will decrease the pressure, like the joint pressure the forces between the two. There's some research that it like kind of alleviates pain a little bit. So by doing that beforehand, you are managing the intensity at which you're pushing the patella into that groove, but you're also getting the benefit of stretching, which is something that is beneficial for that specific pathology. Hence my idea. Isaiah, thoughts? CJ, thoughts?
My thought is that when my PFP gets really bad, you'll see me do it in sessions. Like if it's bothering me, I'll stretch my quad like a lot. Like I'll bring my leg behind me and I'll do it for like 5 seconds. And yeah, like I just realized I do that just subconsciously. And
Yeah, I think it's like a good thing for PFP. It like can help a little bit. You just don't want to do it. Maybe that's a better idea. Is just like, are they 5-second like intense holds?
I literally go like this. Like I'll just stand and I'll like pull back and then let go.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's it.
So as needed, maybe.
I think doing it for an extended period of time. Like I only do it that short because like it's like a weird thing. Like I do it subconsciously. Like,
Okay,
I just
cool.
bring my leg up. And
All right. Yeah, we'll keep it there. CJ, you follow that?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Hope you're taking mental notes.
Because it
here.
definitely, when I would stretch, when I had bad tendinopathy, like regular tendinopathy, it would definitely make it worse. But for PFP, it's always made it better.
Cool. And then the infamous deadlift. Oh, goodness gracious. How are we going to build this back in? I think the RDL could be a good progression for your deadlift, CJ.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
like, you're going to do...
like I could literally start with like
I don't know why I
nothing
keep doing this.
or water
A
bottles.
bar. No.
Could also
bar.
cut the range of
That's
motion.
That's
a
what
lot.
I'm saying, yeah. So, CJ, I don't want you to decrease the weight as much as I want you to change the range of motion.
Okay.
And I want you to change your positioning so it's less load. So you can bend your knees to decrease the load, and you can not go as far down.
I could
Does
do
that make
that.
sense?
Basically, just don't
Yeah.
have a stretch in your hamstrings.
Yeah. I got you.
The more tension you feel, the more stretch you feel, the worse it is. And then work on hinging as well. And I think that would be like a better progression. You have glute bridging in there, so that's going to hit your hips. We have something for your quads. We have something for your calves. We have something for your glute med. So there's a pretty robust plan, right? And the goal is going to be to progress up the RDL.
Yeah.
If you want a goal. If I were to give you like a program goals. Because sometimes people like that. Progress up the squats in weight and then move through more full range of motions. Should I number these? And then the second goal, oh, this is ugly. Second goal would be to increase the weight and ROM on RDLs, eventually moving to deadlift from blocks, and then increase the leg lever on single leg glute bridges, then add weight. Jump higher.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you make that transfer from RDLs to deadlifts?
So what you'll do is as your hamstring gets better, and you can do like regular RDLs, you will progress to a deadlift from blocks, and you'll use like very lightweight, and then you will progress the weight. You'll progress the deadlift down to the floor, and then you'll add weight progressively as you go through that process. So you can do it a couple ways. You could keep it from blocks and increase the weight, and then progress your way down, or you could. That's probably what I would do. I would start from blocks and then increase the weight, and then increase the range of motion, drop the weight, and then re-increase the weight, increase the range of motion, drop the weight, re-increase the weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like this like undulating cycling of it. Calf strength. Strong. And, I mean, glute med strength. How about this? I'll make it action word. Get calf strong. And actually it's calves, so I'm going to have to change that. For your glute med, I would just say progress up bands and reps. And do you need core work or anything right now?
I'll do them at the end of every workout.
Okay, cool. Sweet. I feel like that covers everything, right? Am I missing anything, Isaiah?
I think that's it.
All right. I think we got a good plan in place. It was pretty simple, seemingly, guys, but there was a lot of thought that went behind this. Hopefully you guys got a little bit into my head and how I program. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Sweet. What'd you guys think? Isaiah, CJ, did you guys enjoy that little maneuver there?
Obviously, I did.
Isaiah, did
Yeah,
you learn?
It was. I mean, a lot of it is because like I do a PFP as well, so
Kind of
yeah,
intuitive
there's a
for
lot of
you?
like kind of insight, and it's gonna give me a lot of insight in how to program for other people with
Yeah,
PFP,
for
as
PFP.
well.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that if you're listening to this and stuff, it is a good lesson into like how to view PFP. Some of the things that I consider when I'm looking at PFP. If it is actually PFP, you'll notice a couple things I didn't do. I did not put isometrics in there. I did not put deep squats in there. I did not put quarter squats in there. Those are all things that I would do in other progressions, and I took them out completely for this one. I also took into consideration his hamstring and knowing what things will load it more or less, and focused on his strengths, right? If he can jump, that's a big strength. That's something working in our favor. We can jump. We need to do that. If we can do the most specific, best thing for your vertical, we need to make sure we're doing that consistently. So he's got his own stuff for his shoulders. So we're checking all the boxes and making sure that we are keeping a very robust athlete. We've got speed work in the form of landings from the dunks and the dunks themselves and jumping. We've got the elastic work, also plyometrics there, and in a dose that is going to keep him healthy and progressing forward. And we've got all the strength work to address some of the issues that he's having everywhere else in his body. So I feel like that was really useful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you like this, make sure that you comment, like, subscribe. We will hopefully be getting CJ on again in the near future. CJ, thank you for blocking out an hour of your time to do this. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Well, thank you for the programming, and thank you for all the work and the tips and the visualization, all that.
That'll be roughly $1,500.
I mean,
I'm just playing. All right. Peace out, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you on tomorrow's episode.